Hey guys, GHAZZY TV here with another Diablo 4 guide video, and in this one, I'm going to teach you how to deal with the Cathedral of Light Capstone dungeon in World Tier 2. This is a level 50 dungeon that allows you to gain access to the next difficulty being World Tier 3. Now it is important to point out, you're only able to do this dungeon if you are in the World Tier 2 difficulty. It's only available for you to be hammered out once you're done with the campaign, and since it is level 50 and the importance of level scaling, it is recommended strongly that you're at least level 46 or even 47 before even attempting this. Even if a lot of builds in the meta builds with proper gearing can handle it sooner, it is very hard if you're doing it too soon. Might be easier in a party, but if you're playing solo, get at least level 46 or 47. You'll be able to tackle this with the information provided in this guide. Now, as a normal dungeon, you'll be clearing off the enemies. There's first a sequence of you picking up the anima juice and pulling this into an altar, and then you're going over to the actual first boss fights. There are 2 boss fights in this dungeon, and you have to deal with them accordingly. The first one is called the High Council. And this dungeon or boss is a little specific because there's basically the Lord Commander himself with a couple of extra captains. And the first captain is the most important one to deal with, and that is called the Sacred Physician. This enemy caster does very little damage compared to the others, but he will resurrect his fallen comrades should you kill the others before him. It's also fair to point out that once he's dead, he will turn into a stationary ghost version, still doing damage, but significantly less so in its place where his corpse landed. The second captain is the Grand Inquisitor, and she will teleport to you, casting a lot of lightning damage, which is the hardest ability of the fight to dodge, which also makes this the ability that you will take the most damage from, and also emphasize on the pressure that doing the first Capstone dungeon, it is very highly recommended that you bring a lightning resistance elixir with you. You want to kill her next. And the last captain is the Devoted Champion, who will literally run around you with a spear trying to hit you throughout the entire fight. Not much to do here, but kiting him as you deal with the other 2 first. And after this guy will be treated as a mere nuisance after you're done with the Inquisitor, and the captain himself is a very slow-walking, slow-attacking enemy and have some pulling effects with his big-ass weapon. And the hectic part with this entire fight is to make sure that you're staying away from these as you're trying to kill 2 rather squishy but also rather evasive caster units. But as long as you kill the Physician first, you shouldn't have any problems with dealing this fight. It's all about keeping distance from the actual Devoted Champion with a spear, as well as the Lord Commander, to not get into their range of melee if you can avoid it, and try to deal with the other classes. The problem with this, obviously, for melee builds is that it could be a bit hectic to deal with this, but I think it shouldn't be too much of an issue. They don't hit too hard, especially if you have that elixir of lightning resistance to help mitigate that type of damage output. And with enough armor, such as the aspect of disobedience, for example, can help a lot with ramping up armor to actually sit and face tank most of these things, such as the Shadow Necromancers being very good at. Now, once you've killed the captain, he will turn into a ghost, still doing the abilities, still doing damage, not as much as the one without the resurrections, but so beware of the very messy fights with a lot of things happening at the same time as you try to navigate and focus your damage onto the Physician. And once you're done with this, you will just finish it off, collect the loot, and move on to the next stage. Now, the next stage is a part that I personally dislike very much, and that is that you have to clear everything before you're able to open up the boss room to the Curator. Now, we're going to skip the part where you just kill everything and assume that you're going to do that because it's very self-explanatory. I hope you don't need a guide for that. If you do need a guide for it, we'll obviously have some build guides linked in the descriptions below, so do check them out. I'm just saying, you know. So, off to the Curator. This is a rather interesting and pretty cool fight, and it was mostly challenging if you're there a little too low level. If your build is able to ramp up some proper defenses, such as the armor from Disobedience aspect, this build, or generally builds that can do that, makes this fight kind of simple to deal with. But I will say, though, that the ads spawned by this boss can hurt quite a lot depending on the build you're playing, but we're going to tackle that in this guide. So, the final boss of the Capstone dungeon, despite having well-telegraphed abilities, hits very hard, and I mean hard. During the fight, you'll be barraged with bone spirits that only presents respectable damage if you get hit by multiple versions of them at the same time. Now, do keep in mind that they are heat-seeking missiles, and in the initial start, you'll also be hit with a cone-like slash, creating 3 lines of damage from his slash, which is very easy to dodge manually, but lastly, he summons generic ads to help him in the fight. It is strongly recommended to kill the adds as soon as you see them, especially when he spawns the ballista-looking skeletons, as they pose a huge risk of dealing crazy high spiking damage per hit. Staying out of the generic pools on the ground goes without saying, and it feels much more like a tank and spank kind of fight. However, the ballista skeletons can easily snipe you, creating high spikes of damage taken, and if unlucky, can even cause deaths. So make sure you deal with those quickly, and the rest of the fight becomes a very easy and well-telegraphed dodgeable fight, outside of one small detail. As you progress the fight, the Curator will begin to do his slash cone-like ability multiple times after one another. When this happens, it is much harder to manually dodge them, and having access to defensive cooldowns such as the Necromancer's Blood Mist or the Sorcerer's Deep Freeze are perfect examples of how to generate or guarantee safety from these combinations of slashes. It will also begin to cast out bone walls randomly in the room, making it even harder to dodge the slashes. Besides the extra layer of difficulty requiring you to have a defensive ability, he continues to summon adds and also start casting a channeling ability, causing the summoned bone walls to explode. When this happens, it is crucial you do not stand anywhere near the walls or you will take a ton of damage. So the TLDR of this fight is to make sure you have a defensive ability ready or a ton of mobility for the later stage of the fight. Make sure the adds he spawns are taken care of quickly. Don't stand the generic pools on the ground and avoid the bone walls, and obviously do not panic. I hope this video guide helped you a lot with understanding how the Capstone dungeon is going to be treated once you get there upon launch of Diablo 4. I've had a lot of fun testing these things out, and I hope this will actually help you navigate through this as you'll then progress into the much more difficult World Tier 3 difficulty of the game. If you do like this kind of content, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe for more content. And if you do like to support this channel, I will be streaming on twitch.tv/GHAZZY, upon which we're actually part of the supporter streamer event, which you can support the stream by gifting 2 subs and get in-game transmog rewards for doing so. If you'd like to support the channel, you're more than welcome to. I'll catch you there. Make sure you point me out in the channel that you came in here from the video, and I'll be sure to say it. Fuck! Please cut that. And as always, till next time, boys, I'll catch you then. Stay safe. Keep rocking.